Hi, I'm going to be talking about Paris, France today. About 90 million people visit France every year, but a third of that, which is 30 million people, specifically visit for Paris, France. Paris, France is a life-changing experience, one that I've had the pleasure of getting to see for myself, and I can personally vouch that this is the most worthwhile place to travel to. Paris is enriched in history, culture, as well as breathtaking sights that one should not miss ever in their lifetime. So how does a nation who is not always giving out the most warm welcome, as well as not guaranteed to communicate with you in the best way possible, how do they attract so many visitors? The architectural and monumental richness of Paris is anchored in the form of contemporarity. You will see that in the millions of monuments that they have. Here are three that I believe are the most influential, as well as the best attractions to go and visit. Number one, the Eiffel Tower, the pinnacle of Paris, France, the symbol that Paris really is. According to History.com, it is considered to be an architectural wonder, as well as it is the most visited attraction in all the world. It provides a site that is absolutely breathtaking, as well as a site that is insane to even see with their own eyes. Second, I want to talk about Pays Pyramid. It is considered to be a beauty of architecture. It surrounds the Louvre Museum, another monument that Paris absolutely is visited by so many people because it's considered, according to discoverwalks.com, the biggest and most famous museum. Not to mention it holds the Leonardo da Vinci Mona Lisa, which I believe is a very important piece of art, and I believe it's pretty cool to check out and see in real life. Third, I want to talk about the Château de Versailles. According to historycrunch.com, it encompasses the history of royalty of France. This monument shows the excess and failures of the king and queen as they had to battle through the French Revolution. It has so much history, and it has so much of a different culture within it and their artifacts, and shows a different time period and different perspective that the French had, as well as not to mention this beautiful landscape that they have. It's insane. Each monument has a snippet of history, not only for Paris's history, but also the world's history, and I feel it's very necessary to check out these sites. Second, I believe Paris's culture is very influencing. According to TravelerCenter.io, in May 2020, it describes the influence Paris has on art. It says how art and romanticism is deeply rooted in the Parisian culture, which can be seen as why Paris is considered the city of love. Telegraph.co.uk, Dwelin Adewale described the impact that Paris fashion designers have all over the world, and their special impact to fashion designers and the fashion couture around the world. You can see so many things, so many important fashion designers come right out of Paris, and it shows their influence all over. Lastly, I want to talk about how the cafe culture is iconic to Paris. According to World in Paris, it describes how meeting places in the Roaring '20s was specifically to the cafes. You would see that people come outside for a coffee and strike up intellectual conversations with others. They picture Hemingway sitting there and striking up a conversation and getting all these facts that would eventually influence our future today. Paris has this diverse culture, as well as it is an inspiration to writers, artists, and filmmakers all around the world. Lastly, I believe Paris is a city that completely absorbs you. Anthony Perger describes Paris as absorbing. According to worldinparis.com, it talks about how if you venture off the beaten path of Paris, you can discover a different perspective that Paris can be. Villages that are stuck in time, exotic, as well as away from the earthen path, show a different culture that Paris also encompasses. According to telegraph.co.uk, in 2015, it said Paris has a permanent excellence, or a permanent elegance. It has despite being in an evolving world, it has this way of keeping their history and their love intact. Not to mention, the city line of Paris is absolutely a sight worth seeing. Whether at night, whether in the day, it is absolutely worth it. So Paris is rich in history, culture, as well as desire. It provides visitors the best sights in history. I absolutely love traveling. I believe traveling is very essential to changing one's perspective, as well as adding more to the culture that a person can see with their own eyes, as well as the culture that a person can experience. It is very necessary. for a person to experience those things. So I hope Paris is on your bucket list, as well as you see how much it can offer to someone or to yourself. As Audrey Hepburn once said in Sabrina, Paris is always good. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I am now open for questions. Yes, so they asked what is my favorite thing about Paris when I went to go visit. I think my favorite thing was seeing the Chateau de Versailles. I know it's not as popular as other ones, but it is a very popular monument, and I think it showed a lot of culture and I'm a very big on history, and I absolutely loved seeing the historical artifacts that they have, as well as the view that they have on such a big building. It was insane, and you need to go check it out. So thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you learned something.